Let's talk about the iPhone 8. So in my previous iPhone 8 leaks and rumors episode, I talked about the idea of having an iPhone 7s in 2017 and also an iPhone 8 as well. So both an iPhone 7s and an iPhone 8 in 2017. So if you haven't seen that video, it's a pretty interesting one. And this is most likely what's going to happen in 2017, an iPhone 7s and also an iPhone 8. So hey everyone, welcome to the Zone of Tech. I'm Daniel, and welcome to my Leaks and Rumors series. And since my previous episode, quite a number of things, quite a number of features of the iPhone 8 had been leaked. So here's 5 really awesome features that the iPhone 8 will most likely come with, and I haven't really talked about 3 of them in my previous episodes at all. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, so most of you have probably heard of Sonny Dixon. So I think most of you probably know who Sonny Dixon is. He's a huge Apple leaker. He's one of the most, actually I think he's the biggest Apple leaker. He has leaked a ton of Apple stuff, coming from the iPhone 6's sapphire crystal display. Yeah, that was supposed to be, the iPhone 6 was supposed to come with a sapphire crystal display. I actually talked about this in my iPhone 6 final leaks and rumors video. Yeah, if you remember that was a pretty long time ago. But yeah, Sonny Dixon has also leaked the iPhone 7's design ahead of the release. He also leaked a jet black iPhone 7 that might be coming soon. And then recently, he also showed the original iOS prototype. So this is how iOS looked at the beginning. It was actually called Acorn OS. So definitely read about this. It's really interesting. So Sonny doesn't post that many leaks, but when he does, he's usually right about them. So definitely check him out. And now he says that with the iPhone 8, fast charging is definitely coming. So if any of you has an iPhone 7 Plus or an iPhone 6s Plus or an iPhone 6 Plus, you probably know that this thing takes forever to fully charge. So it actually takes more than 2 hours, about 2 hours and 30 minutes to fully charge, which is quite a lot. Now, I'm not exactly sure how many of you are aware of this, but every single iPhone since the iPhone 6 actually has quick charge. So basically with the iPhone 6 and onwards, Apple actually added support for 2.4 amp charging. Now the charger that comes included in the iPhone box, that's actually a 1 amp charger. However, if you use something like an iPad charger that's actually 2.4 amps, you can actually charge your iPhone much faster than with the included charger. So by using an iPad adapter that's 2.4 amps, the iPhone 7 Plus would actually fully charge in about 1 hour and 40 minutes, down from like 2 hours and 30 minutes. So that's a pretty major improvement. Now with the iPhone 8, and I've mentioned this in my previous episodes as well, Apple will most likely be adding some sort of quick charge technology. Maybe this is going to be just an iPad charger in the iPhone 8's box, or maybe this is going to be a brand new charger completely. So yeah, quick charging is most likely coming with the iPhone 8. Now, Sonny Dixon, he actually said this. He said that Apple will actually include a Tristar 3 Hydra chip, which basically manages the charging port. So what does this mean? Well, it basically means that the iPhone 8 will either allow a faster charge using that iPad charger, that 2.4 amp charger, or it means that Apple will actually allow a higher current through the charging port. So something higher than 2.4 amps, so something like 3.2 or 5. But either way, we'll definitely see some improvement when it comes to the charging times, especially on the Plus model, because yeah, this one takes forever to charge. So I do expect a faster charge either with the included adapter and maybe with a separate adapter as well. Now the second new feature that I want to talk about is something that I haven't really talked about before at all, and that's actually tap to wake. So according to Sonny Dixon, the iPhone 8 will actually come with tap to wake. So this is something that we've seen on Android smartphones, especially something like the Google Pixel. The Google Pixel actually got an update like a few weeks ago. So when you double tap on the display, you actually get a quick preview of all your missed notifications. However, according to Sonny Dixon, this will actually be exclusive to the iPhone 8. So even though this is basically a software update, no other iPhone will be having this feature except for the iPhone 8. Okay, so why is this? Why would the iPhone 8 have this exclusive feature, and why would it be missing from something like an iPhone 7 Plus and so on? Well, the first case scenario is Apple just making a lame excuse like the iPhone 8 has a larger battery, or the iPhone 8 uses the Apple A11 processor, which is more power efficient, so that's why we can only have this feature on the iPhone 8. Now, these would simply be excuses from Apple to make you buy the iPhone 8, because that would be an exclusive feature to the iPhone 8, and they've done this in the past with quite a few phones, like Raise to Wake and iOS 10 and so on. Now, the second case scenario, this is actually the most logical option. So in my previous video on the iPhone 8, so on that 7s and the iPhone 8 both in 2017 video, in that video, yeah, I talked about the idea of having an iPhone 7s and an iPhone 8 both in 2017. The iPhone 7s would basically be an iPhone 7 with some minor internal changes, a new color, and also some camera improvements, again, all of which I discussed in this video. And then the iPhone 8 would be that really big change with a brand new design, with no home button, and with those really thin bezels, glass on both the front and the back. And speaking of the iPhone 8 would also come with an OLED display. So having double tap to wake on the iPhone 8 now would actually make a lot of sense because, yeah, an OLED panel is really power efficient because you only have to light up the pixels that are being used because, yeah, you don't actually have a backlight on an OLED display, only on LCD displays. So having this double tap to wake feature only on the iPhone 8 would actually make a lot of sense again because it will basically have almost no impact, very minimal impact on the battery life. Number 3, I want to talk about something I was personally really hoping for, and that's actually improved water resistance. So in my main leaks and rumors episode on the iPhone 8, I talked about the idea of the iPhone 8 coming with some sort of improved water resistance over the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus. Now, just last week, Korea Herland, and yeah, I probably didn't pronounce that correctly, but it actually reported that the iPhone 8 would actually come with an IP68 certification rating. Now, in case you don't know, the iPhone 7 comes with IP67, so what does this mean? Well, IP stands for Ingress Protection Rating, so the 6 means that it's full dust resistant, and the 7, that's the digit for the water resistance. So on the iPhone 7, that 7 basically meant that you could actually submerge it in water up to 1 meter of depth up to 30 minutes. But on the iPhone 8, that 8 basically means that you could submerge it in more than 1 meter of depth. Now this can essentially be anything that's more than 1 meter, so even like 30 meters. Now with IP68, usually the manufacturer does say exactly what's the maximum depth that you can actually submerge that device to. So for example, on the Samsung Galaxy S7, you have IP68, however, Samsung only says that the maximum depth is 1.5 meters. So not a pretty huge increase from 1 meter that you would have with IP67. Now the iPhone 7, however, some even did some extreme water tests, so some even submerged this into lakes and deep pools, and the iPhone was actually fine in some cases even after a few days of being submerged. However, in a few cases, the iPhone 7 broke when even submerged into just something like a bowl of water. And by the way, water damage is unfortunately not covered on the iPhone 7, so if you break your phone because of water damage, then Apple will not replace or repair your phone. At least not for free, you'll have to pay for it. But yeah, I am expecting this to change with the iPhone 8. Number 4, this one is actually pretty interesting. So this is something that I mentioned in my previous episodes and something that I predicted to happen, and now apparently more sources are pointing towards this. So since the iPhone 8 is going to be such a big change, so glass on both the front and the back, so a completely redesigned iPhone with no home button at all, an almost bezel-less design, the iPhone 8 is basically going to be the most premium iPhone ever made. Now, since it's going to come with glass on both the front and the back, there's actually going to be a frame that surrounds the phone, and I said that that frame might actually be made out of stainless steel, so just like on the Apple Watch, and that's because 1, it would simply look amazing, and then 2, it's actually more durable than aluminum. Not even to mention that the iPhone 8, since it's going to be such a premium phone, it's also going to be more expensive, so a stainless steel frame would actually make a lot more sense. Now last week, quite a few reports coming from Taiwan have actually suggested that this will actually happen, so an iPhone 8 with a stainless steel metal rim. Now this would be pretty cool, however, it's not something that Apple hasn't done before. So for example, with the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S, you actually had a stainless steel metal rim, and then with the iPhone 5 and every single iPhone since then, every single iPhone since the iPhone 5 had an aluminum frame and an aluminum body. Apple switched to aluminum on the iPhone 5 because 1, it was cheaper to produce, and it was also much lighter than the stainless steel frame on the iPhone 4 and 4S. Now the only real advantage to having a stainless steel frame is because, well, it's more durable than aluminum, and it's also, well, it looks much better than aluminum. Now those reports coming from Taiwan, they also suggest that steel frame on the iPhone 8 would actually be cheaper to manufacture than the aluminum bodies on the iPhone 7 and basically all the previous iPhones. So apparently it would be cheaper by about 30 to 50% than the aluminum body, and that's because, well, that's only going to be a frame, whereas on the iPhone 7, on the iPhone 7S, you actually have a full you have a metal rim, and then you also have a back, a full aluminum back. Now besides this, those sources have also confirmed that we are going to have, in fact, multiple iPhone models in 2017. So not just the iPhone 8, that's going to come with a new design and with that metal stainless steel rim, but also possibly an iPhone 7S with basically the same design as the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 6S, and just some minor internal changes. Again, everything about the iPhone 7S is covered in this episode. And finally, number 5, the last really awesome feature that the iPhone 8 is going to come with, and I've actually talked about this before in my previous videos, but now I have quite a few more details regarding this. So that's long-range wireless charging. Okay, so long-range wireless charging, what does this mean? How long would the range be, and how would this work? So Apple has teamed up with this company named Energus, and Energus, they actually have this technology called What Up. Yeah, what's up? And What Up basically lets you charge devices wirelessly from up to 5 meters of distance. So yeah, 5 meters, and you can basically charge your devices wirelessly, basically through Wi-Fi. No need to put your phone on a charging pad, and Energus actually demoed this. So this already exists and it already works. So Apple teaming up with Energus for a wireless charging system for the iPhone 8. This is something that I've already talked about in my previous videos. So what's new? Well, recently, the company that I was talking about before, so Energus, they've actually teamed up with Dialog, and Dialog is an Apple supplier. So 70%, 75% actually of Dialog's business is actually with Apple. So I believe they manufacture the wireless charging chips for the iPhone and also the cellular chips. So if Energus has teamed up with Dialog, that means that Energus wants its technology inside Dialog components, which will be eventually included by Apple in the iPhone 8. And there you go, these were just 5 of the many features that the iPhone 8 is going to come with. Now, these are not the only features that the iPhone 8 is going to come with. So there are a couple of really interesting ones, such as the OLED display, and probably the most interesting one is the Touch ID and the home button built right into the display panel. And in case you want to know more about these, I actually covered those in my previous Leaks and Rumors episodes, but the reason why I wanted to talk about those 5 is because since my last episode, in which I discussed the iPhone 7s and the iPhone 8, the possibility of having both in 2017, since that episode, a lot more details regarding those 5 new features of the iPhone 8 have emerged. So yeah, feel free to check out my previous Leaks and Rumors episodes on the iPhone 8 and also on the Samsung Galaxy S8 if you're curious about the S8, because the Samsung Galaxy S8 is also going to look really similar to the iPhone 8. So an almost bezel-less design with no home button and also home button built right into the display assembly. So those 2 phones are going to be pretty similar. Also feel free to subscribe if you want to see more Leaks and Rumors episodes like this one, and also don't forget to enable notifications on my channel because there's actually been quite a few issues with the subscription feed. So if you don't want to miss out on my next videos, then simply tap the bell icon next to my channel and you'll be notified as soon as I upload a brand new epic video. If you have enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like to let me know, and also feel free to follow me on Twitter at ZoneOfTech. You can ask me any questions, any iPhone 8 and any Samsung Galaxy S8 or any tech related questions there as well. And finally, what do you guys think about the iPhone 8, especially about those 5 features that I mentioned in this video? Which one do you think is the most interesting one, so to say? Which one are you most excited for? And also let me know if you are epic enough to make it to the end of this video. But yeah, this was pretty much it for this video. So thank you for watching this video. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. ZoneOfTech, signing out. Cheers.